Today is April 20th, 2020 at 6 p.m. for the Florence Town Council meeting. At this time, we'll call the meeting to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Tara Walter.
Here.
Vice Mayor John Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Karen Wall.
Here.
Councilmember Kristen Larson.
Here.
Councilmember Michelle Cordes.
Here.
Councilmember Judy Use.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, we'll go ahead and open up our call to the public.
Mayor, we did receive no emails nor calls for Paul's call to the public.
Okay, I don't see anybody on as well. So at this time, we'll go ahead and close call to the public. Item 6A is public hearing and presentation. Public hearing to receive citizens' comments and accept the sanitation rate study, proposed rate increases, and for discussion, approval, disapproval of selecting option 2 to be effective May 1st, 2020. Ms. Garcia.
Mayor, members of council, Carl Dugan is still here to go through the rate study with council. We did, once you open the public hearing, we did receive no public comments from the public. We had it listed online to be able to call the clerk's office, and that they had an hour prior to the meeting tonight to be able to participate in the public hearing. We did receive no comments. Carl, do you have anything?
Nothing to add.
Thank you to both of you. At this time, we will go ahead and open the public hearing. Understanding that nobody has called in or submitted comments, we will go ahead and close the public hearing. Is there anybody from council that has anything they'd like to add at this time?
Yes, I'd like to ask about the issue of the leakage. It says that we're addressing that. What are we doing about the leakage in Anthem?
We've taken the roster, and Curtis Williams has gone around with our admin in finance and have been knocking on doors. We identified some customers, and we call them, and they let us know that the service is back on. And so they tell us, when they came back, and so they let us back bill them. Are they, how honest is that? I don't know. We're going to continue to have that problem because water is not on our, is not a utility of ours out in the Anthem area.
Well, but somebody is telling them to stop the garbage, right?
Right. They call in and put a hold on their garbage. And when they come back, they have the garbage cans in their garage. And so when they come back in air, they probably forget to call us. They just start rolling the cans back out, and the drivers go through and pick up everything that's on the street.
Well, when they put it on hold, why don't we pick up the garbage cans?
That's an option we could discuss. I think it was a manpower issue.
Well, if we're losing $12,000 a month.
A year. That's estimated per year.
Still, that's a lot of money, though. Okay.
We've also talked, do we put it on a 3-month hold and turn it back on? We've had several items that we've discussed.
Yeah, that'd be an idea. Just ask them when you want to turn back on, when they turn it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's my questions. Thank you.
Are there any other questions from council?
Yeah, couldn't you just have them, when they put it on hold, put a date on when it would come off hold? So they'd put that it goes on hold March 1st and that it would come off September 1st, and it would stay that way unless they called and told you it would be different?
We could do it manually. I don't know if our system would allow that, but we could definitely do that manually. I don't know if that would require any council action.
I agree. That seems very
To put a
logical.
policy like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't know if it would require council action. That's just part of wouldn't that just be part of the procedure? When you call to put your service on hold, you have to give a date of when it would come off hold as part of the hold. And then unless they call to change that date would be when you guys would put it back live on the account.
Lisa, can we just do that through a policy, internal policy?
Yes, the only thing that required council action was to actually put the accounts on hold. So that would just be a procedural action that finance can do.
Okay.
Why don't we move forward, Carl, with that two-phase approach, in that when folks want to disconnect, we ask them for a date of when they would want to again receive service. If they don't provide us a date, then we just notify them that we're going to turn it back on after 3 months.
Okay. We'll develop a policy.
all right. Thank you. That sounds great. There's no further questions. With that, we need a motion for this item.
Well,
Don't we need to discuss the various options that were offered in the RCA?
Well, the agenda item said option 2, but if we want to look at others at this time, we can definitely discuss it.
Councilmember Wall, we provided multiple options at the last meeting, and you asked us to move forward with option 2. And so we were coming back to ratify option 2, allowing for additional public comment, et cetera. I don't know if Carl has a copy of that presentation that was done with the options that was presented at the previous meeting.
I do have the options.
Councilmember Wall, would you like to see him go through those options again?
No, I think I just misunderstood what was being asked of the council tonight.
You asked us to move forward with option 2 and go through the public hearing process, and that's what we've done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I motion that we approve the rate study, the proposed rate increase, option 2, effective May 1st, 2020.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item B is proclamation for April 19th to the 25th as National Library Week.
Hi, Mayor Tara Walter with a proclamation for National Library Week. Whereas today's libraries are less about what they have on the shelves and more about what they can do with and for their communities. And libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions where people of all ages, interests, and backgrounds can come together alongside one another. And whereas libraries of all types are at the heart of the cities, towns, schools, and campuses, and libraries offer members of the community a welcoming space and opportunities to explore new passions through technologies, programs, and services. And whereas libraries and librarians help patrons find the tools to improve the quality of their life and promote the free exchange of information and ideas for all, are cornerstones of democracy. And whereas libraries strive to develop and maintain programs and collections that are as diverse as the populations they serve. And whereas libraries and librarians work to create an equitable society by promoting free access to accurate information to all people, and whereas libraries are a resource for all members of the community, regardless of ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status, by offering services and educational programs that transform lives and strengthen communities. And whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Tara Walter, do hereby proclaim April 19th to 25th, 2020 as National Library Week. During this time, I understand that we are in the midst of a pandemic. I encourage you to explore our online resources that we have available, and when we open up, I would further like to encourage all residents to visit the library and explore what's new at our local library, engage with our librarian. Because of you and our library leaders, libraries transform.
That was a lot of fun to go out into the field to read the proclamations during this time. We thought that it would just bring a different aspect to it. There are a lot of opportunities to engage with our library at this time. You can access it remotely, and we are looking forward to opening, as I know much of the public is as well. Our next item is item 6C. This is another item where we went out into the field for a proclamation of April 2020 as Fair Housing Month. Fair Housing Proclamation. Whereas the Civil Rights Act of 1968, commonly known as the Federal Fair Housing Act, and the Fair Housing Amendments Acts of 1988 prohibit discrimination in the sale, rental, leasing, and financing of housing or land to be used for the construction of housing or in the provision of brokerage service on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, disability, family status, or national origin. And whereas the 1986 and 1988 Federal Fair Housing Acts declare that this is a national policy to ensure equal opportunities in housing, and whereas April has traditionally been designated as Fair Housing Month in the United States, now therefore I, Tara Walter, Mayor of the Town of Florence, Arizona, do hereby proclaim April as Fair Housing Month in the Town of Florence, and do hereby urge all residents of this community to comply with and show their support to the letter for the spirit of fair housing. It's pretty challenging doing those, but they were a lot of fun. We went over to our newer home builder across the way and visited. So item 7 is our consent agenda. All items on the consent agenda will be handled by a single vote as part of the consent agenda unless a council member or member of the public objects at the time the agenda item is called. Ms. Garcia, has anybody contacted you prior to the meeting to voice any concerns over any of the consent agenda items?
No one contacted me individually, no.
Thank you. Item A is authorization to enter into a contract with the S.J. Anderson Company to address occupant safety items related to egress in Suite 201 and the balcony area of the Silver King Marketplace in an amount not to exceed $63,215.31. Item B is authorizing the town's participation in an intergovernmental cooperative purchase agreement with lead contracting agency, a public procurement authority, to cooperative purchase 24 fire turnouts from municipal emergency services using a 3-year lease agreement in the amount not to exceed $68,191.90. Item C is authorization to accept funds in the amount of $24,469 from the Governor's Office of Highway Safety to purchase mobile data computer tables for traffic records enforcement. And item D is approval of the application and affidavit for uniform video service license by Bear Communications LLC, doing business as Airbeam for a term not to exceed 10 years. And item E is approval of February 3rd, February 18th, and March 2nd, and March 16th and 18th, 2020 Town Council meeting minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your consent agenda. Is there anybody who would like anything removed at this time?
I would like item 7B removed.
I'd like item 7A and 7D removed.
Okay. Items 7A and 7B removed. With that, we need a motion.
And 7D also.
7D?
D is in dog, yes.
Okay, so 7A, B, and D?
Yes.
Okay. Can I have a motion, please?
I
make a
motion that we
motion.
approve tonight's consent agenda with removal of items 7A, 7B, and 7D.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And that motion carries. Let's start with item A.
Just a quick question on that. I was concerned about the stairs. If I'm reading this right, we have open access to the balcony now, right? Up and down. So people can get on the balcony without going through the building.
Chris, are you going to answer that or you want me to answer it?
I'm fine answering it. Mayor, Councilman Anderson, that was a concern. I believe that was addressed through both the Building Safety Department and the Facilities Department. They modified the plans. They worked with the architect to create some type of, I believe, some type of code allowable gate that only works in one direction, essentially.
Okay, well, yeah, I was looking for that on the plan. I couldn't see it anywhere. So that's, if you've done that, that's great. That's my only question on that one.
Excellent. Can we have a motion to approve item A?
I make a motion, we approve item A.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And that motion carries. Item B.
I just have a question about what happens if one of the turnouts is damaged and can no longer be used. Would the town need to purchase outright the second set of turnouts, or would they be added to the lease?
I'm gonna do this one, Chief, if you may. So this has a couple of different aspects, Councilmember Wall. So one of the nice things about this is these firefighters will now have two sets of turnouts. So if they go into a fire, a set of turnouts is damaged, etc., they can be sent for repair and cleaning, and they'll still have a second set of turnouts. In our program, and you'll recall from being on the budget committee last year, we had a significant discussion about turnouts and how many we should buy and how we should budget for that. And what we decided to do was purchase a few turnouts every year over a period of time. But that's challenging. So the chief went out and researched this, or his team went out and researched this and found a way that we could, for a very low interest rate, finance and purchase turnouts for our crews, which will in effect give us backup turnouts exactly for the reason that you just described.
So if they're irreparable, what happens?
They'll still have one set of turnouts.
But no backup.
They wouldn't have a backup, but they haven't had a backup ever in the history of Florence Fire.
Okay. Thank you. I didn't know that. Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve item 7B.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Chief Strayer, you looked like you wanted to add something on that. Is there something you wanted to say as well?
Well, I think it's covered. One of the main drivers of this also is cancer prevention. You know, as you know, a number of state laws have recently passed related to cancer in the fire service and mitigation efforts, and the ability to rotate to a fresh set of turnouts after a fire is a huge step in the right direction to avoid exposure to carcinogens. So this is a huge safety thing for our organization to have this in place. And also, then they have 10-year service lives. It sets us in a position going forward to, as a starting here with a replacement schedule like this. Now, if we lose a set of turnouts due to damage, sometimes it's just a loss. Sometimes we take those losses through the risk pool if they're big enough, to Council Member Wall's question. But the lease, I don't think in particular addresses the loss. I think if you lose the turnouts, you just lose the turnouts, and you have to replace them. So, but I just wanted to make the point about the carcinogen exposure and how this helps reduce that. That was that's what I wanted to share.
Okay, thank you so much. And item D.
Item D, just a question for Trent. What's this all about? Can you explain?
So in 2018, the state of Arizona amended Title IX for cable companies, cable providers. Basically, it limits our ability to regulate cable companies, video companies like Cox Communications, so on and so forth, and required all municipalities to establish a uniform video license agreement that these cable operators are required to submit if they are going to conduct business in the town limits, right-of-ways, et cetera. It pretty much gutted our ability to charge application fees and things like that, but we still can charge a license fee. This is standard form, standard practice that all cable operators have to fill out when conducting business in the town of Florence. In this case, it's Airbeam, and the license fee associated with this agreement is 5%, which is standard. That's generally what we charge all cable operators. Does that answer your question?
Well, so this is just for Airbeam that's in what, downtown and
yeah, correct. In the agenda packet, there's the area of operations that they've outlined in their map. So yes, correct. Downtown Florence, Florence Gardens area. And the type of service that they would provide would be fiber service, cable service through fiber optics.
Okay. What about Cox? Have we done this with Cox yet?
Cox Communications, I believe they have filed it. Lisa can weigh in on that one.
Okay, I figured out how to unmute myself. Cox has requested has requested a copy of our standard agreement. They have not filed their application, but you are going to see that very soon.
Thank you. I make a motion that we approve item D for the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 8A is unfinished business. Resolution number 173620. This is set for discussion, approval, disapproval of a resolution of the Town of Florence, Pinal County, Arizona, adopting revisions to the Town of Florence property lease policy. Ms. Lisa Garcia and Jennifer Evans.
All right, I am going to share my screen with you real quick. So can everyone see my screen?
Wow, yes.
Yes.
I just wanted to go over the policy changes. This has appeared before council at 3 different meetings. And so we just wanted to go over the final revisions that were done. Council did request at the last meeting that we modify the policy to be a modified triple net lease, and we did create a definition. So that is there. Number 2, council did advise staff to use a combination rate of 0.51. So I'm just going to go down and show you. Jennifer Evans did create a chart for us. So let's look at it. And so hold on just one second. Let me mute this real quick. All right, so sorry about that. So if you can see, if we're looking at suite number 1, the combined rate would be 51 cents. That means the rate that would be paid to the town of Florence would be on a non-summer month would be $182.40. And the giblet rate would be $108.30. Total cost would be $290.70. But the discounted rate during the summers to the town would be $164.16, and the giblet rate would remain the $290.70. Does that make sense? And that's with this 10% discount that we discussed. And so the other thing we did was we went in and we changed the hours to be a minimum hours of 35 hours per week, and that's what would be required to be able to receive the discount during the summer months. And number 4 is the 10% discount during the months of June, July, and August. So we're very hopeful that we hit all the marks, and we're bringing this back to you. We do have a RFP on the street that's due on April 27th. And with that, we'll take any questions, and Jennifer is here also to assist.
No questions.
No questions? Then, Mayor, if you would entertain a motion?
Terry,
You're muted.
you're muted.
With that, we need a motion.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution 1736-20, resolution of the town of Florence, Pinal County, adopting revisions to the town of Florence property lease policy.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 9 is our manager's report.
Madam Mayor, I have a few items to share this evening. I'll go through them quickly. First up, I've been providing a COVID-19 update, so I want to share with you some pertinent numbers. Arizona now has 5,064 confirmed cases, 187 deaths. Pinal County's latest number is 256 cases, 7 deaths. 2 of those occurred today, 1 this morning and 1 this afternoon. Florence currently has 32 confirmed cases. And last meeting, I got questions regarding prisons. Latest numbers I have are 17 cases in Florence prison, 6 in INS, and 1 pending in GEO. Keep in mind, those numbers are somewhat different than last week. As soon as folks get better, they come off the list. So that's why some of those have gone down from last week. And as you can tell, others have significantly increased. Second item that I had is I was contacted by one of the council members today with respect to a lawsuit that was filed in federal district court last week from the Sierra Club on the EPA. And more specifically, that lawsuit pertains to what Sierra Club believes to be lack of enforcement on the Clean Air Act, more specifically PM10 and the PM10 non-attainment area for what's called Western Pinal County. PM10 is particulate matter 10 microns and smaller, so that's dust in the air. It's a criteria pollutant, and it's known to cause illnesses in humans. Essentially, Sierra Club believes that EPA hasn't done a good enough job of enforcing its rules against Western Pinal County. You're probably thinking, why are we talking about Western Pinal County? Florence is in the PM10 non-attainment area for Western Pinal County, along with Casa Grande, Coolidge, Eloy, and Maricopa. Fortunately or unfortunately for Florence, we haven't seen any exceedances in this area for PM10, but they have a lot of them in Maricopa and in Casa Grande. I have reached out to MAG, Maricopa Association of Governments, to get some advice from their staff as to how we should proceed or what the potential impact may be of this lawsuit. I have not heard back from MAG yet. I just wanted to make you aware. The last thing that I have is this Friday, Pinal Partnership will be holding a virtual breakfast panel. And that virtual breakfast panel will be updates from Pinal County city managers. So if you wanted to join in that festive environment, that will occur at 8 a.m. Friday morning. And it will be via mobile app that you have to download from the Pinal Partnership website. Mayor, that's all I have.
All right, thank you so much for that update. And with that, I also have a MAG meeting on Wednesday. So if you have anything you want me to bring forward at that time, please let me know. Call to the public. Ms. Garcia, have we had anybody calling in for the final call to the public?
We have not received any emails or calls.
Thank you. Our final is call to the council for current events only. Councilmember Larson.
I think as we stated last time that it's important that we all stick together through this, and I really appreciate everyone reaching out to their neighbors and friends and making sure that they're all feeling connected for their emotional health as well as the physical health. I know we're all sort of going through this in different stages right now, and you know, it's important that we stick together and help each other during this time. And I really appreciate how the people of town of Florence have come together. So pretty much just saying the same things we said before, you know, keep our head above water and, you know, keep on swimming. So otherwise, I hope you guys all stay healthy and enjoy the time with your families while we're all in quarantine. That's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Wall.
I don't have anything to add other than what has already been discussed and talked about over the last few weeks. Stay healthy, stay safe, be cognizant of the social distancing, and hopefully we'll be out of this soon.
Thank you. Councilmember Hughes.
I think I share what Councilwoman Larson has said. I think that I'm finally starting to feel better after all this time since December. And I'm getting to see a lot more of my husband, and I like him today, so this is a good thing. So just everybody, it's so nice to be on this Zoom so that I can see you guys' faces, you know. I do kind of miss going to be able to go out, so thanks.
I ditto that. Councilmember Cordes.
Just make sure to remember to support those small businesses. Their restaurants are open. You can still order food, bring it home, because without us supporting them, they're not gonna, you know, they're not gonna have a good time. And we need to make sure that when it's all over, those small restaurants that have supported our community for years, that they're still here when this is all over. So I just want to encourage everybody to remember that our restaurants are open. A lot of our businesses are trying to conduct stuff through the internet, which is new to several of them. So, you know, if there's something that you're looking for as far as clothing, Bucks for Style, Blue Sky, Rail 3 Ranch, Heart Jane, they're all open. You just got to get in contact with them on Facebook or something. Our restaurants all have a way you can either call or order online food, and they'll bring it out to your car, and they're all taking precautions like they're supposed to. So thankfully, my son does not have to eat my cooking every day because we are going out and eating and helping to support those local businesses. So everybody stay safe, and that's it.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Anderson.
I just have a question for the police chief and fire chief, if we didn't get reports from them. Have we seen an increase or decrease in calls during this pandemic?
I'm sorry, I didn't. Wait.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, We haven't really seen an increase in calls. We have seen a slight uptick in just some arguments between certain family members, but those really haven't gone physical.
On the fire side, our call volume has dropped some. However, we are running confirmed COVID cases in Florence. We had 2 over the weekend, several more last week, but the call volume itself is down slightly.
Just curious. Thank you. That's all I had.
Excellent. Well, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody coming to the meeting tonight, especially Chief for being here to answer the questions. Other than that, just continue to stay safe. And if you have any questions, reach out. We're always here. And we will continue to communicate any updates as they come forward. We're continuing on this week. We have gone to Monday, Wednesday, Friday communications with Pinal County EOC, Monday, Thursday with Governor Ducey's office. And we've also had communication with Congressman Gosar's office in regards to funding for our smaller communities. And he is going to go ahead and champion that forward. So with that, I wish you all a good night. Stay safe. And with that, we need a motion.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are dismissed.